Hello everyone and welcome to my Sister Wives Gossip. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Amy Duggar reveals scary moment she confronted Josh about his abuse. Amy Duggar King is set to share more of her side of the story with a new memoir. In the book, she recounted an encounter with her cousin Josh Duggar, who is currently facing various legal issues. She also alluded to other thoughts she has about her cousin. Amy Duggar King shared a question she had for Josh and a chilling response. Viewers were introduced to members of the Duggar family through various reality shows, including 19 Kids and Counting On. Through these, viewers not only met Michelle and Jim Bob Duggar and their 19 children, but their extended family as well. Amy Duggar King is the daughter of Jim Bob's sister, Deanna. Recently, Amy recounted a story where she confronted her infamous cousin Josh Duggar in her new memoir, Holy Disruptor. Back in 2021, Josh was arrested on charges of receiving and possessing child pornography. Eventually, he was found guilty on all charges and sentenced to over 12 years in prison. As noted by People, Josh also came under fire in 2015 after reports claimed he molested 5 female victims, including 4 of his then underage sisters. While Josh admitted to these accusations, he was never formally charged. In her new memoir, Amy recently shared, when the molestation allegations came to light, she confronted him, asking why he didn't abuse her in a similar way. She shared that he claimed he knew better than to attempt that with her. Amy continued, noting he then gave her the creepiest smile. She suggested that victims were targeted because they were the ones less likely to speak out about what happened. Amy continued, "In that moment I just looked at him, and I was just like, I don't know you at all." As she noted, this was all the more shocking as Josh was someone she grew up with, sending memes to each other and going on double dates. She continued, "It's very sad and terrifying. But I was going over there with a mission. I wasn't getting any answers, and I'm not one of these to back down." Amy also talked about having grace for her cousin through it all. Amy also shared that she contacted the 5th victim, hoping her book wouldn't blindside her. As she explained, "I was like, I just want to honor your story, and I want people to know that I respect you. I even told her, if you don't want me to write about anything in the book or put you even in there as a 5th victim, I'm okay with that too." Through all that has happened, Amy has been quite outspoken concerning her cousin. However, she shared she still has a bit of grace for Josh. She explained, "A tiny, very small, very minute amount, just because I know that if you have a problem with something, and you go and ask your parents, and then it kind of gets pushed aside or not really dealt with. But more of like, hey, okay, we're going to send you here and just get you out of the house. And they'll talk to you there as you build houses, or whatever. That's not true help. That's not true therapy." Amy's memoir, Holy Disruptor, is set for release on October 14, 2025. It is currently available for pre-order, and should be available wherever books are sold. For years, Amy Duggar King, the outspoken cousin of the Duggar family, has been known as the one who never quite fit the 19 Kids and Counting mold. She wasn't raised under Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's strict religious rules, and she never shied away from saying what others in her family wouldn't. But recently, Amy opened up about one of the most terrifying moments of her life. The day she confronted her cousin Josh Duggar about the abuse that tore her family apart. In an emotional revelation, Amy described the confrontation as both the scariest and most freeing moment she's ever experienced. "I was shaking," she admitted. "But I knew I had to look him in the eye and say what everyone else was too afraid to say." The build-up to the showdown. When the news first broke in 2015 that Josh Duggar had molested several girls, including some of his own sisters, Amy's world spun. Although she had long sensed something dark beneath her cousin's polished public image, she never imagined the depth of his crimes. "I remember feeling sick," Amy said. "It wasn't just disgust. It was heartbreak, for the victims, for the family, and for the deception that had been going on for years. We had been paraded around as this perfect Christian family, and now the truth was exploding like a bomb." As the scandal unfolded, Amy faced immense pressure to stay silent. She was told to keep the family name clean, to avoid speaking to the media, and to let God handle it. But Amy, who has always had a fire in her spirit, couldn't sit still. "It was eating me alive," she confessed. "I needed answers. I needed him to know how much pain he caused. I needed to see his eyes." Amy recalled the day she finally confronted Josh, a moment she had prepared for mentally but never truly believed would happen. The meeting took place in a quiet, private setting away from the cameras and the chaos of media attention. When I saw him, he smiled like everything was normal, Amy said. It was chilling. He acted like we were just cousins catching up, and I wanted to scream. That fake charm, that false humility, it was exactly what allowed him to hide for so long. She didn't hold back. I told him, "You don't get to play the victim here. You destroyed lives. You hurt people who trusted you. And you fooled everyone into thinking you were someone you weren't." Josh, according to Amy, stayed mostly silent, offering half-hearted apologies and excuses about sin and temptation. But Amy wasn't having it. I told him, "This isn't about sin. This is about choice. You chose to do evil things. And you need to take responsibility for them, all of them." The fear of retaliation. Amy admitted that she was scared, not just of Josh's reaction, but of the backlash from the rest of the family. Speaking out against a Duggar, especially against one of Jim Bob's oldest sons, was practically forbidden. "I knew once I spoke up there would be no going back," she said. "I'd be labeled as the troublemaker, the rebel cousin. But honestly, that label doesn't scare me anymore. What scares me is silence." Amy described feeling the room go cold during the confrontation. "There was a darkness about him that I'll never forget," she said quietly. It wasn't just guilt. It was a sense that he still didn't understand the gravity of what he'd done. After the meeting, Amy walked out shaking but determined. "I cried the entire drive home," she revealed. "I was angry, heartbroken, disgusted, but I also felt a strange kind of peace. I had said what I needed to say.
Breaking the
I had
cycle
faced
of
the
silence.
monster." Since that moment, Amy has made it her mission to speak out, not just against Josh, but against the culture that allowed his actions to be hidden for so long. "I love my family," she clarified. "But loving them doesn't mean covering up evil. It means holding people accountable and protecting those who can't protect themselves." Amy has been a vocal supporter of Josh's victims, especially his sisters who were forced to relive their trauma under the public eye. "They didn't deserve to be humiliated all over again," Amy said. "They deserved compassion, therapy, and real healing, not media spin and church damage control." She's also used her platform to advocate for survivors of abuse. Through social media, Amy often shares encouraging messages for women to speak up and seek help. "I've learned that secrets destroy families," she posted recently. "Truth heals them, even if it's painful." Life after the confrontation. In the years since Josh's arrest and subsequent imprisonment for child sexual abuse material, Amy has distanced herself from much of the Duggar family. She's built a life centered around authenticity, running her clothing boutique, raising her son Daxton with husband Dylan King, and prioritizing peace over appearances. "I'm done with pretending," she said. "I grew up surrounded by people who cared more about image than integrity. I won't live that way." Still, she admits that the scars remain. "Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about that day," she shared. "I see his face, the way he avoided eye contact, the way he tried to minimize everything. It's a reminder of how dangerous denial can be. A message to other survivors." Amy's story has resonated with countless fans who see her as a rare voice of honesty within a family defined by secrecy. And she hopes her courage inspires others to speak up, even when it's terrifying. "If you've been hurt, you have every right to confront your abuser," she said passionately. "You don't owe them silence. You don't owe them peace. You owe yourself the truth." Amy believes that speaking up against Josh wasn't just about family. It was about freedom. "That moment didn't fix everything," she admitted. "But it broke the chain. It showed me that I'm not afraid to stand up to evil, even when it shares my last name." Moving forward. Today, Amy Duggar King continues to be a force for truth and resilience. She knows her outspokenness has cost her relationships within the Duggar family, but she's at peace with that. "Sometimes you have to lose people to find yourself," she said. "And I found a version of me that doesn't back down anymore." Her confrontation with Josh may have been terrifying, but it also marked the start of her healing and the beginning of her journey toward independence from the Duggar legacy. "I can't erase what happened," Amy reflected, "but I can make sure it's not forgotten. Silence protects the abuser, not the abused. And I will never be silent again."